Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you're new here, my name is Holly. I make food and fitness content, and if you're not new here, welcome back to the channel. So grab a coffee, grab a cup of tea, because we are doing a juicy Q&A today. I had all intentions to vlog this week, but if you haven't seen on Instagram, we had a bit of a crappy, to say the slightest, starts of the week. Nala got bitten. I say bitten, it sounds like singular. Like, Nala got bitten multiple times by another dog, and yeah, she was in the vets at the beginning of the week, and it was like genuinely terrifying. Like, I think that's like every dog owner's like worst nightmare is another dog getting hold of your dog. And yeah, it just wasn't a very nice start to the week, and we have been on puppy lockdown. She is actually behind me. I don't know if you can see, she's got her lovely cone that she's been rocking this week. Yeah, so we have been basically on a puppy lockdown this week because Nala can't go outside. She's on serious rest, even though she is not wanting to rest at all. Like, over the past 2 days, she's really got her personality back, and it's like just like so nice to see, because at the beginning of the week, like, she was so sad, and it's been like really hard to see, but she's looking a lot better. Her leg is a lot less swollen. We have another checkup next week, and I'm just keeping fingers, toes, like everything, paws crossed at this point, just that we get some good news on Monday. That's why there's no vlog this week, but I did want to get up a YouTube video, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna sit down. Oh, hello. Hi. Okay. Oh, okay, I guess we're just lying down there for the rest of the video, are we? But yeah, I didn't want to leave us without a video this week, so I was like, you know what, I'll just jump on and I'll do a big juicy Q&A, and I'll spill some tea this week just to fill the gap before we get back into normal routine next week. So I did ask you guys for some questions on Instagram, and you know what, as normal, you guys really pulled through on the questions. I know this is going to be a big one when I'm like sweating before I start answering it, so I'm going in blind. I haven't pre-prepped anything. First question: if you didn't become successful in influencing, do you think you'd be as successful in fitness? Absolutely not. Like, first of all, I was about to be like, am I really that successful in fitness? But in terms of achieving, you know, 2 marathons, triathlon, and like as much running as I do, I would not be able to do that with a 9 to 5. And that's why I always say, like, please never compare yourself to an influencer who literally most of my job is to train for things, to go out running, to go to the gym, to try out workout classes. That's a part of my job in the weirdest sense. Like, part of my job description as, I guess, a quote unquote like fitness influencer is to train and, you know, promote a healthy lifestyle and promote and share what workouts I'm doing. I genuinely always say this, but I think if you can train for a marathon and you work in a corporate 9 to 5, or even like not a 9 to 5, like if you're a nurse, if you're a doctor and you're training for a marathon, like, you are a superhuman. The fact that you're able to put in those hours and train for a race like that alongside doing a full-time job, an office job, which like it's just mentally and physically exhausting, you are a superhuman. Like, I did train when I had my corporate job. I would go to the gym at like 5 a.m. and I like doing that, but the hours for a marathon and the hours for running, I think I just would find it so much more difficult. So no, I mean, I don't want to do myself a disservice by saying that, because like I will never know, but I think maybe I would have done a marathon, but I don't know whether I would have been like, okay, I'm going to keep going and do that again, because, you know, you're dedicating your weekends and your mornings, and it's a lot more of a sacrifice for somebody that doesn't work as an influencer. Honestly, the amount of you checking on Nala in these questions is so nice. A lot of you were wondering exactly what happened, and just like to be transparent with you guys, like, I'm not going to sit here and delve into the details of what happened. I was away at a wedding, so I wasn't with Nala when this incident occurred. Nala was in the care of someone that we trust and adored, and that's why I don't really want to sit here and delve into the details, because I know how horrendous they feel, and I don't blame them. Like, it's not their fault. These things like unfortunately happen. She's okay, like she's fine, and that's what we have to focus on. Like, I'm never gonna blame someone. Like, this could have happened anywhere. There's a number of situations where this could have happened, so like no one is to blame. Like, it's just awful that it's happened, but yeah, like I said, like, Nala is fine. Like, I'm keeping my fingers crossed for some good news on Monday, and that's what we're gonna focus on. We're not gonna focus on the details, because I just know how horrendous that person feels anyway. Someone said, does your sister ever want to move to California to be with you? So no, I don't think that is on the cards. I don't think any of my family would move over the side of the pond. That's not because they don't like it, they love it. I just think my sister's, you know, she's got a life. She's got a fiance, she's got a home, she's got cats. Like, she's not kind of like, you know, just able to pick up and like move. I think she loves coming to visit me, but I don't think she would move here. Her fiance is actually Greek, so I think if they're gonna move anywhere, they're gonna end up moving to Greece. Someone said, please can I have advice for someone who got asked on a first date? Yes, because first dates are genuinely terrifying. Like, you know that meme where it's like, my body doesn't understand the difference between being chased by a bear and being asked on a first date? Like, that is me and my levels of like anxiety around dating. And I realized kind of why I was feeling like this. Number one, I was putting so much pressure on first dates. Like, I was like, oh my God, like this could be my husband, like this could be it, like, oh my God, like I would just like really deep it. And as horrible and like as much as I hate this saying, it's not that deep. Like, it does not have to be that deep. I think when you strip it back, you are just going to hang out with someone and you are just having conversation and you're learning more about someone. I think when I reframed it in the way of like, I'm just like interested to know more about someone, and usually with the first date, you don't know this person. So just think of the amount and abundance of questions you have to ask them. Like, I think second and third dates are harder than the first, because I think on the first, you're like, there's so many things that you can ask. And I can talk for England, so I feel like on a first date, I'm just like, okay, like let me find out as much as possible about you. Also, think about it in terms of like, don't give them all the power. Like, you are also evaluating them. That was also a big mistake I made when I first started dating, is I was like, oh, I hope they like me. I hope they think my outfit's nice. Like, I hope they're having a good time. And it's like, no, 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 no. Are you having a good time? Are you enjoying the conversation they're making with? Stop worrying about how they're feeling and just like focus in on how you're truly feeling. And that gives you so much power in the situation, because I think sometimes when you go on a first date, like you do feel a bit powerless and like vulnerable, like it's scary, but just put the power back on yourself. Like, you are in complete control of the situation. Also, like, what is the worst that can happen? If it's a crappy date, you can leave. That is the best part about dating, is like you can go on one date and you never have to see or speak to that person ever again. Like, you can just absolutely block, delete, whatever you want to do, whatever makes you feel the happiest. Like, that can be that. You do not have to go on a second date, and they are not entitled to spend a whole evening with you if you are not having a good time. Speaking of dating, I kid you not, 90% of these questions were all focused on one new male individual in my life, which I was kind of expecting. I don't want to like sit and make this a whole Q&A on my boyfriend, but obviously, like, if the questions are being asked, I will answer the questions. So let me do like a couple of quick fires. Okay, so the first question is, who is your boyfriend and where did you meet him? So me and my boyfriend actually met through mutual friends. Now, we actually met through mutual friends at the very beginning of the year, which is kind of funny to think, because there was a couple of occasions where we were like in social situations with our group of friends and we just didn't really think much of each other. I kind of hate to say that because I'm like, it's so unromantic, but we just never really interacted that much. We had like maybe like 2 conversations and we just didn't really think anything of it. I was obviously seeing someone at the very beginning of the year, and for him, he knew that I was seeing someone, and he's not the type of guy to like tread on anyone's toes. So yeah, we didn't really have too many interactions. Things with the person that I was seeing ended, and basically it's kind of funny. A few weeks later, he sent me a meme on Instagram, and it's like a Jack Joseph skit of like a UK proposal, which, like, to be honest, is like so funny that like that was the spark that started it all. Basically, he sent me this meme and I didn't reply for like 4 days. I think I just was like, you know, I didn't really know where my head stood with everything, and I was like, no, I'm taking time for myself, like I don't really want to date. Also, like, this man had literally sent me a meme, like I don't know why I was deeping it so much. Maybe I knew in the back of my head, like if I replied I was absolutely cooked. So I took a few days to reply, and I was like, oh hey, like sorry, haha. Anyway, then we just kind of briefly got chatting. There was a couple of days in between the messages, like it wasn't very like consistent. Then it got a little bit more consistent and we were talking like pretty much like morning to evening, like most days. And then basically one day he just texted me and was like, I'm gonna call you. And my heart literally nearly fell through my ass. Like I was like, wait, like what's happening? Like, why is he gonna call me? Like I was so nervous. Like I was so nervous speaking on the phone. And I remember I lied. And he was like, I'm gonna call you now. And I was like, oh, I'm just on the phone to my sister, I need 5 minutes. Because I needed 5 minutes to not have a panic attack. Like I was like, why am I freaking out so much? Like, it's just a normal conversation. We're just on the phone. It's fine. It's not gonna be weird. Like it's gonna be okay. I remember saying to myself, like, Holly, you know how to have a conversation. Like, don't be a weirdo. We end up on the phone for like 2 to 3 hours, just like talking nonstop. And I remember on this phone call, I was just like, oh my God, like there's so much more to this man than I thought. We just like learned so much about each other on the phone. And it was honestly crazy. Like I remember hanging up the phone and being like, what has just happened? And on the phone he was like, I would like to take you on a date. Like I'd like to take you to my area, like next Tuesday, like I'll take you on a big tour of it. I would love to do that. Like I'll take the day off work to like show you around all this stuff. And I was like, yeah, like let me think about it. I was like, give me 24 hours. Cause I was still very much like, oh, like I don't know if I want to start dating someone, but I was like, you know, I've just had this incredible conversation with this guy, like I don't really want to let this pass me. So anyway, I was like, I'm going out with my friends this evening. He was going out for dinner with his friends. Very different parts of LA. We're kind of texting a little bit, not really, but I then eventually say like, oh, me and my friends are off to this bar called the Lincoln. And he was like, there's no way. And I was like, wait, what? And he was like, I'm on my way to the Lincoln. The chances of that happening, basically zero. Like that doesn't really happen. This bar was in an area that neither of us were in, so it was uncommon for any of us to be moving around. He ends up there, we don't even get in, we end up in the line, we go to a different bar, we just like have like so much fun, we end up like having a kiss, and yeah, since that point we have literally been inseparable. I don't know, you know when you just click with someone, and like I have not had that in so long, and I didn't even think that it was possible. Like I truly was just like, I have kind of given up on finding my person. I was like, I think I'll find a person and I think that'll be nice, but I don't think I'll ever find someone that I think is like truly for me. And like on the phone, I was like, did I like write you? Like, am I like actually dreaming? The next question, and this has been a big one, like you girlies have been asking on TikTok as well, is he British or is he American? I can confirm I am dating an American man. He is actually an American man with a sense of humor though. I think that is one of the reasons why we click so well, is I have really struggled with American men because I don't feel like they really get the British sense of humor. But I am very fortunate that like this like man understands my sense of humor and my sarcasm. Oh, this is a good question. Somebody said, are there brands that have reached out to you where you've given them a hard pass? Yes, I basically have like kind of like almost like a blacklist of brands that if they sell certain products, or if they're kind of like wanting me to sell certain products, like I will not work with them. If you are trying to get me to sell fat burning pills, waist trainers, scales, like a lot of brands have these like smart scales, and I get asked a lot to do like a smart scale, and I'm like, I am not telling these girls to step on a scale every single day. Like you are completely misreading the situation. I'm trying to think if there's any big ones. There is like a big fitness brand that I have since blacklisted. I did a little like sneaky TikTok on this once, but basically a huge fitness brand actually asked me last year before I moved to the US, called me down to the offices in Birmingham, which is a big hint about what brand it is. Basically sat me down and were like, we want to sign you as an athlete. And I was like, getting into fitness influencing, being asked to be an athlete for that brand was like the biggest honor. And I literally remember I got in my car and I was like crying, and I was calling my sister, and I was like, oh my goodness, like some of my biggest fitness inspirations are athletes for this brand. And now I don't ever really consider being an athlete for a brand or being exclusive with a brand, because I love wearing so many different brands. Like you'll see I wear Lulu and I wear My Protein, and I love wearing CSB, and I love wearing Honor. If you sign exclusively with a brand, you are no longer allowed to wear any other brand. You can't be affiliated with them. You cannot wear their clothing, even if it's just like out and about. Like you can't wear them. You can only wear the brand that you're an athlete of, which I do understand. But for that reason, I've never wanted to sign exclusively. Now, this brand were like, we want to sign you as an athlete. And I was like ready to kind of, you know, get rid of all of my other activewear and just like zone in on this brand. Like I was like, this is so huge, and it's such an honor to be recognized by such a big brand. So I went away, and I remember I called my sister in the car, and I called my mom, and I was like crying, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. And they retracted the offer like a week later. But like very nonchalant, very casually just retracted it. Not like an official like, hey, we're gonna retract the offer, just basically pretending that they hadn't made it. It was honestly one of the most bizarre situations. And the really sad thing is like, I've actually heard that they've done this to a number of people, so I don't really know what's going on. But for those reasons, that is a brand that I now no longer work with, because I just think like that was really rude and it was really mean. Somebody said, do you want kids one day, or do you want to be a child-free queen? This is something that if you'd have asked me like 5 years ago, I think my opinion would have been very different. I think 5 years ago, I was very happy to be child-free. I think I was kind of in a situation where I was like, you know what, if I have kids, great, and if I don't have kids, like, you know, whatever. Like I will have a great life either way, and I will have a great life either way if I have kids, if I don't have kids. I now like would like love children. Like I would love kids. Like I cannot wait to be a mum. And this is gonna sound really cheesy, but I feel like Nala was such a huge catalyst for that, because I remember when I got Nala, I remember like looking at her and being like, oh my God, like I've just never loved anything like this. Is like unconditional love. And I remember thinking like, if I love you this much, like imagine how much love I'm gonna have to give to like an actual baby. No, like I actually do really want children, and I can't wait to be a mum, like to the point where I'm like, oh, I could have 5. I think I could have 5. However, let me give birth once and then I'll come back to you on that. I think it will probably, I don't know how many, I don't want to put a number on it. And you know, like if I'm blessed enough to even have one, then I'll have one. But yeah, I definitely want kids at some point, which would be really nice. I know I say I can't wait, but I will definitely be waiting. There will not be a baby announcement for the foreseeable. Like, we have a lot of stuff to get done first. Someone said favorite hair care products for curly hair. So if you missed it last week, I did my curly hair tutorial in last week's vlog, but essentially all Innocence products, like 100% Innocence products. The next question I got asked quite a lot is, are you and your boyfriend living together? Has he moved in? Are you and your boyfriend going to live together? Obviously, when you get with someone and they become your boyfriend, like the end goal is to be with them forever. Like that's how, like seriously, I kind of take like boyfriend and girlfriend. I'm like, I'm not gonna call you my boyfriend unless like, you know, we have a future here. So yes, 100% at some point. Basically, like I said, like we've essentially been fairly like inseparable. We kind of split our time between like both places at the moment. Like he has a toothbrush and a drawer here now, which is kind of crazy. But you know, I've got my home. I love my home. I also do still love my independent time. That's been the biggest like shift for me, as you guys know that like I have been an independent girly and I've been living by myself for years now, and I still do appreciate that space. I say that within like 2 hours, I'm like, okay, like I miss you, you can come back now, like I've had my breathing time. But he also appreciates his space and he's got his own home. So, you know, we're not in a rush with that. Like there's a lot of kind of things that we want to figure out first, but yeah, he's basically moved in here this week to help me look after Nala, which has been amazing and it's been really easy. So I don't see like a world wherein we wouldn't move in together. But again, like there's like no rush on these things. Like we don't need to like jump into doing that immediately. Like I think the situation that we have right now is perfect because he has his home and his space and I have my home and I have my space. So we're not like too much too soon, it doesn't feel like. Somebody said, I'm pregnant, it's yours, I love you. Interesting. Not biologically possible, but interesting. Someone said, how is the non-dairy journey going? I think I always kind of give like mini updates on this, but honestly, I genuinely, and I find this hard to talk about because I don't want to sit here and be like, cutting out dairy has been the best thing I've ever done, because that to me feels kind of like I'm promoting cutting something out. Now, I want to stress, when I removed dairy from my diet, I substituted it with everything. Like I haven't just taken products out of my life. Like anything that I had that was dairy has been replaced by a non-dairy substitute. So yes, I've cut out dairy, but I have also like included other things in my diet. Now, my personal decision to cut out dairy for my body and my skin and the gut health problems that I was having has been great. Like I truly don't see a day where I will go back to eating dairy. My skin is the main thing. Like my skin hasn't looked like this in like literal years, and over the past like I guess it's probably the past 3 weeks I've seen like the most results. So it wasn't instant, it wasn't overnight, it takes time and I had to really stick with it, and it definitely was super tough in the beginning. But I found the oat milks I like, I found the dairy alternatives that I like. So I think if you have the products to substitute it, you don't really feel like you're missing it, because that's what I was worried about, was like really feeling like I was missing cheese. And don't get me wrong, sometimes on a hangover I'm like, I would just smash a quesadilla. And there is time and a place where I probably will have cheese. Like when I go on my trip to England in a few weeks, I'm probably going to eat some dairy in the UK, because I don't think dairy in the UK is as bad. I just don't think I would ever go back to eating dairy and like drinking milk consistently. Like we're on the oat milk and I actually really like it now, which is never words I thought I would ever hear come out of my mouth. So this is another thing that I do like tend to get a lot of questions on when I do like a Q&A, is like, am I renewing my visa? Like, do I feel like this is my forever home? Like, am I ever going to go back to London? And I will never answer that question definitely, purely for the reason that like you never know what the future holds. You know, I don't want to live by definites. Like I don't think that's a fun thing to do, to be like, okay, like, you know, I'm moving back to London or I'm staying here 100%. I don't really like that. That to me doesn't sound fun. Like I don't really like the idea of being like, okay, I'm 100% doing this. Do I see my foreseeable in LA? 100%. Like, do I want to renew my visa? Yes, 100%. But I'm being open-minded because plans change and things change, and like you never know the way the world is going. Like that's kind of like my opinion on it. Favorite podcast you listen to? There are two that I very consistently listen to, and that's Grace Beverley's Working Hard, and then anything Mel Robbins puts out. Anything Mel Robbins puts out. Oh, someone said, how do you fill your cup? What does fill your cup the most? I personally feel like whenever like I get asked this question, like my answer is always so simple. Like I truly feel like the simplest things make me the happiest. This morning I woke up, I went to a Pilates class and I walked and I got an iced coffee and I just went for a walk. That, to me, it's such a basic answer. It's such a basic answer, but doing things that I know are like good for me and enjoyable, like going for a walk with Nala, going for a hike with Nala, those things make me feel so fulfilled. Like going to the farmer's market, more so than paying to go and do like a big expensive dinner, or like paying for a big experience, or going on a big expensive trip, things like that. Yes, they're great and I love them. Like, you know, I'm a human being, like we all love a nice dinner, but I don't think those things, like, I don't come away from a dinner feeling like my cup is filled. Like, I've had a nice time, I've had a great time, but I don't feel like that like scratches my soul, if that makes sense. Whereas when I went to Yosemite with my boyfriend and we just did like 3 days of like hiking and being outdoors, like that for me is so wholesome and really fills my cup. Like when I can take Nala on really nice hikes or walks on the beach, in those moments, like I think I truly feel like my happiest and my most content. Okay, someone said, did I go to university, and if so, what did I study? I did. I went to Man. I literally had the best 4 years of my whole entire life. The amount that I reminisce on university days is just like unhealthy. And I studied fashion buying and merchandising, which I loved. Someone said, is there anything in particular you're extra excited for with SGS? I feel like all of it. I just feel like it's been such a great year. Like I am so proud of the app, and I'm so proud of the continual like advancements that we make with it. Like we've added Pilates, we're adding more workouts week on week. It's just consistently like leveling up, and like that's all I could ask for, is like having an app that like is continually evolving, continually moving forward. I think anything else particularly I'm excited about, potentially like our New Year's like campaign and the new discipline that we're bringing to the app in the New Year's. Like that's something that I'm definitely very excited about, and I hope that you guys are too. Take a brief interlude because I don't know if you've been able to see my sweat patches, but guys, I'm absolutely sweltering and my camera started to overheat, and I also started to overheat, so we have turned on the AC, but I fear we are gonna have to wrap this up pretty soon because like the sweat patches are pretty bad. I'm sure that you've already noticed them. But I wanted to end on a really nice note, and I got a question that I really love, and somebody asked something that you're very proud of that you would share with your younger self. And I love this because it was one of those questions that kind of makes you like stop and actually reflect on how far you've come in life, and I think we don't do that often enough. I feel like we always project to the future and we consider like what we want to achieve and what we haven't achieved, but we don't ever stop to look at how proud we would be of how far we've made it. The thing that I would be the most proud of, like looking back, is having had the courage to pick up and move to a different country. Like not even just like LA in specific, or like, you know, nothing material about LA, but it was the courage to have made that decision. I was happy in England, I was comfortable in England, I could have stayed there, I could have stayed there for the rest of my life. I'd always had this itch, like since a young age, that I wanted to move abroad. And I remember when I came to LA when I was 18 and we were driving around, we were doing one of those like Hollywood tours, and I remember thinking to myself, like, this is really fun, but like I want to be one of the people like down there, one of the people that are just walking around because they just live here. And I really remember that moment. It really stuck with me. Now whenever I drive around LA and I see those buses, I always think like, oh my god, she wouldn't believe it. She wouldn't believe that like she wouldn't believe that she actually did it, but also like had the courage to do it. Because I remember that moment thinking like, oh, like it's never gonna happen. Like, you know, like that's so scary. Like how could anyone ever move? Okay, unfortunately my vlogging camera did just overheat, but I'm just gonna pick up and carry on where I left off on my iPhone so we can wrap the video up. But yeah, there was a lot of moments where I was like, I don't think I can actually do this. The staircase ahead of me seemed so big and so scary, and like that wasn't even like all that was scary. I was like, then I have to, you know, move and I have to make friends, and there was just so many hoops to jump through that I felt like I wasn't able to, and I didn't have the courage to do it. And I just took it one hoop at a time, one step at a time, and I managed to get through all of them, and I managed to climb the whole staircase. And I think I'd be really proud of doing that and the life that I've built here, whether that was in LA or in another country. Like I think that's something that I would always be like really proud that I ended up doing. So yeah, I think that is gonna wrap up the video. Hope you guys have enjoyed the Q&A. I feel like I've answered probably a fair amount of questions. I feel like I did kind of run through those, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed getting to know a little bit more about my boyfriend. Maybe we'll see him on the channel soon. I haven't really decided. That was also another thing somebody wanted, was like, is he going to be hard launch? We haven't really made that decision. He's also like not a very like online person. Like this man doesn't even have TikTok. His Instagram's private. Like he's not somebody that like lives on social media or kind of like engages with it even that much. So yeah, I don't know, we'll see. But without further ado, I want to say thank you guys so much for watching this week's video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next Monday for a vlog.